So I'm just like wanting to know like how you started out in the industry. Like after you've graduated from CalArts, where did you go next?
So I was very lucky to meet certain people, teachers at CalArts that helped me, learn a lot more about hand-drawn animation. And the cool thing about going to a place like CalArts is that oftentimes you rely on your network to help you get a job.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about CalArts is that a lot of industry professionals work there and teach there and stuff like that. So that's how I met Bert Klein. At the time, I was a third year at CalArts, super confused about animation. I thought I didn't know what I was doing, and I was kind of doubting everything at that time. And the great thing about meeting Bert was that he kind of simplified everything for me in a way and clarified certain things. He showed me how to do the timing charts and how to structure a scene, how to break it down. And so that, he was a massive help for me in that regard. But also, him and his wife were both working on a little short film, the Pups of Liberty, and they were kind of looking for anyone that might be interested in helping. And I raised my hand really fast and like, please, I knew that they had a lot of experience with, in the industry. They worked on feature films, worked at Disney. Jennifer worked with Brad Bird on Iron Giant, and Bert Klein was really good friends with Eric Goldberg, who was my idol, my all-time animation idol. I was like, wow, I can't believe my luck. Let me get on this project. And the cool thing about it is that I started off doing in-betweens, and eventually they gave me shots to work on, and I got better and better and better as an animator. And then once I graduated, once I was in my fourth year at CalArts, I almost dropped CalArts entirely. I was debating whether you could go back because I've found like the perfect mentors in Bert and Jennifer. But I ended up going back to finish my fourth year film anyway, just so I could have something to put in the producer show, because I knew that Ron and John were looking for animators to fill positions for Princess and the Frog at the time. I thought that was an opportunity of the century. So I felt like, and Bert and Jennifer knew Ron and John personally. They worked with them before and everything like that. So I'm like, oh my God, all I got to do is just, make a film, a student film that would appeal to them. So that's what I did. My fourth year, I just crafted a short film. I think it was like 90 seconds. My fourth year film. And it was all tailored for Disney, Disney style animation, and I just tried to get on Princess and the Frog. I just tried like what is going to give me the best shot at getting into Disney at this time to work on this specific film, Princess and the Frog. And so I that's what I tailored my fourth year film around. And Bert actually sat right next to Ron or John Muster at the producer show while my film was playing, and then he talked to John, and John apparently said that, oh yeah, well, I think we can use him, or something like that. He made some sort of comment after my film played, which was pretty positive, and it made me very excited, as you can imagine. But that's how it works. That's how it works. You kind of get out there and you meet certain people that know other people, and it kind of blows your mind. It's like, wow, this is an amazing opportunity. And fortunately, I was able to kind of make my fourth year film in a way that helped me out. It was good enough to get in at the time, and that's all I needed, and that's all I wanted, and I was super, super happy about it. And I think a lot had to do with the connections, because otherwise I really wouldn't. It was two key points to it. Like, it was the mentorship that helped me get to that level of animation to begin with, and then it was just the connection, the friendship that I had built with Bert and Jennifer that opened up the opportunity to that other network that helped me get into Disney. So that's kind of how it worked for me. I know it's a lot harder for some people, who might not have the luxury of going to CalArts, but I think the internet has gotten to a point with blogs and just the networking capabilities that we all have with the internet. I think it's making it a lot easier than it was for me at the time to network and get yourself out there, because that's really what it's about, is getting your stuff out there to the right people at the right time Because I know I've been working at Disney for about 10 years now, and on every film, they always ask us, "Oh, do you know anybody? Do you know anybody that might work? We have positions open, you know." And so that's always happening. And so if you happen to know someone, or whatever, it'll help. And I think having at this point, if you don't go to a place like CalArts, having an online presence will probably help you, you know, because ultimately your portfolio speaks for you.
Yeah.
If your portfolio is good enough, I think in this day and age, you'll get noticed. You don't have to go to CalArts, you know. I just felt that my hands were a little bit tied up at the time. I didn't really understand the industry. I didn't know anybody in the industry. I didn't know anything about animation. All I knew was that I wanted to be an animator, and CalArts had the best program, so that's why I just felt compelled to go. But I think times have changed, you know, particularly with the expenses associated with going to school these days. I could see people would want to find a different route than I did, but that's how I got in. And I know I worked really hard, but a lot of luck played into it as well. But I think luck starts to happen when you work hard and when you're passionate, enthusiastic. It's kind of infectious, you know. People notice that, you know, and that's how things work. I think.
Yeah, that sounds great. I was going to ask, like, for like portfolio stuff, like, you know, what type of work would you say would sort of interest people, like for industries, like companies and stuff like that? What would they be particularly interested in a 3D animator or any animator?
Well, I mean, if you have, all you need really is a few shots that demonstrate your ability to entertain, and you know, as long as you can demonstrate a good understanding of performance, acting, and entertainment, and believability in your animation, that's all you really need. And it could really come down to just a few shots, a few solid shots, or maybe even a couple shots. You never know who's going to see it, but you know, you just have to, you know, you have to go through that grind and learn how to animate. You know, and once you get to that point where it starts to stand out, like you see people begin to notice that your art has taken on that sense of life in it. Ultimately, the illusion of life is like the perfect name for the books that Frank and Ali made, because that's really what it is. It's like, you know, once your animation starts to come alive, once people suspend their sense of reality and really buy into the performance that you have crafted.
Yeah.
Once they believe, and then boom, once they're locked in, that's when you know it's starting to work. You know, once they get drawn into your performance, and the way they do that is, you know, the way you get people to do that, to really kind of buy into your animation is, you know, making sure, you know, you have the right physics for the type of shot, and the right performance ideas. You know, there's a lot that has to do with performance, acting. You have to study acting, and you have to create a performance that's going to be believable in that context. You know, and then the physics also have to be believable, and the little nuances moving around, nuances of the animation. You know, if they're right and if they're all working together, that's when you start kind of getting. I think you could just literally submit to studios, not knowing anybody, and if you have that in your animation, then you'll probably get an interview somewhere. And I think sometimes it's tough to make the leap right to feature animation these days, right? So a good way to go about it, or perhaps, is to look at it as, like, you know, a step-by-step process. Okay, well, let me get into a smaller, you know, studio as my first milestone. Let me just get into any studio at all, you know. And that's what some animators at Disney did, who didn't go to CalArts. They just kind of tried to get their foot in the door any way possible, whatever. In-betweens, you know, there's some new animators at Disney who I think they went to Sheridan, and 10 years ago they were doing in-betweens on Princess and the Frog. They were doing in-betweens, you know. with hand-drawn in-betweens. And they just got their foot in the door any way they could. And now they went to the trainee program at Disney, and they're awesome. They're just awesome at CG animation. And they got their foot in the door. They got the right mentorship, and they were able to kind of like make enough of a living for a while. And all that during that time they were constantly learning and growing as animators. They learned CG, boom, and they're just awesome. So, I mean, I think the name of the game is just getting your foot in the door one way or another, finding people who can kind of help you understand animation a little bit more. Mentors are great, and that's probably a great way to go about it now. So just get into the studio and then just boom, work your way up from there. And sometimes you might even be happy at a small studio. You never know.
Mm-hmm. Just one more question. I'm always like confused about experiences. Like, what type of experience do you need to have whenever you're applying for companies and studios? Does it have to be like studio based, or can it be? Is your education valid for it as well?
Yeah, it's that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of feature studios, like if they're just trying to hire someone that they don't really want to coach too much, they'll look for someone who has a lot of industry experience to fill that position. But then there are always the trainee opportunities, apprenticeships, that the big studios have, which don't require that experience. They just want to see potential, So as long as you can exist. So it depends on what you're applying for. If you're applying for a position where you have to just kind of go in and just start animating and just start being productive right away, then you're gonna want a good amount of, like, maybe a few years of experience in the industry or whatever, animating, to be able to do that. But if you apply for an apprenticeship, obviously, all you need to demonstrate is a glimpse of potential in your portfolio. So a hint of life, something interesting in your portfolio, just a good sense of timing, animation, acting, physics, and then you go to the trainee program at a place like Disney, and then you refine all of that and you build on top of it. And it's amazing what a year in a Disney apprenticeship will do for some people. It's mind.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
It's so good. Amazing.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna keep trying and keep perfecting myself and get there. So, thanks very much for answering the questions and stuff.
Yeah, no problem, and thank you.